Hey y'all, we're back with Kiana Talks Ball, here to talk about last night's Sacramento Kings versus Denver Nuggets game. Denver Nuggets play at home on a grueling back-to-back that they won versus the Houston Rockets the night before. David Alderman said they didn't land in Denver until 2:30 a.m. DA said he didn't get back to his bed until 3:30. So I can only imagine how the players feel going full throttle without Aaron Gordon in that win in Houston, and having to do it all over again in less than 24 hours. And needless to say, they definitely played like it. They definitely played like a team that just didn't have their legs. Defense was not great from start to finish. I will say that Cam and Spencer were the only ones with like consistent energy on defense. Peyton had a great first quarter offensively, and a lot of down the stretch, they actually were doing well offensively, but they couldn't get any stops. They couldn't stop Keegan Murray. They couldn't stop DeMar, Zach, Russ. Like, they just couldn't get any stops. And this was a game that neither Sabonis or Keon Ellis played in. And it was a weird game to watch from start to finish. The whole thing was kind of irritating. Usually Denver is very irritating in the in the second quarter. After the opposing team, they make their adjustments and then it catches Denver's off guard. And then, Jokić is out for the first half of the second quarter, comes back in. And depending on how the bench did, the starters, they come back in, they might be a little rusty. And so DA, actually in this game, the second unit actually did really good. But usually, like I said, Denver, they have kind of a wonky second quarter, and then they get it together in the third. And then the fourth might be up or down, but they either bring it home or they don't, and finish that out with energy. The second quarter wasn't bad. It really wasn't. Val had a great second quarter. Let's see here. Val had a great second quarter. I was hoping they would bring him in sooner. The Kings, they had a rookie center. Let's see, Maxim Raymond, who Val was just kind of able to back up each time, get his floater, kind of get whatever he wanted on that. And then Jokić was able to sit out for a long period of time. I don't think Jokić came back in until like 4 seconds left. I'm trying to see. Jokić didn't come back in until like about 4 minutes left in the second. And then when he came in, still trying to find his way, still trying to find his footing. Denver didn't close out well, but they still kept it neck and neck. The third quarter is where Jamal started to get hot, and Jokić started to get hot as well. But it was like Denver wasn't playing defense because they're trying to conserve their energy. There were some possessions where they're playing zone, and it's just not effective because nobody's moving. And there's either nobody's moving and everybody's just ball watching, or there's just hella miscommunication, and players aren't fighting over screens. They're not keeping up with their man. If their man, runs past them on the dribble, so then one of your other teammates has to pick up your man and leave their man behind, but then nobody's covering their man. So it was a lot of lackluster energy on defense, leaving people wide open on defense, miscommunication on defense, to where folk don't know who they're covering, what area they're covering, or to cover that person if they're going to leave their man. It was just a lot of lackluster energy and effort on defense. Speaking of defense, Spencer Jones got in foul trouble early. Spencer Jones was a negative 18 in this game. And to be frank, I don't really care. They lost this game by 5. Spencer Jones was the only player who was in the negatives by 2 figures. Everybody else, you had Peyton was a +3, Cam +3, Nicola +2, Jamal evened out, Bruce was a -8, Tim was a +3, which I find odd. Jonas Valanciunas was a -5, and Hunter was a -5. So Spencer Jones was the only person in double-digit negatives. I don't really care. It was his first career start. And again, coming off of a grueling away game back-to-back from Houston. Thankfully, they won that Houston game. So it's not like they just can't compete. You know what I'm saying? They can compete. It's just the optics of the situation. They just didn't have the energy, and it definitely showed. So yeah, Spencer Jones got some early fouls in the first quarter on DeMar and Zach, I believe. And it just sucked because watching this game, especially in the first quarter, there's so many instances where, you know, if Aaron was in the game, that wouldn't have happened. Let's see. Yeah, in the first quarter, in Peyton kind of filling in that power forward role since Aaron is out, he has had some good passes to Jokić, and he has had some bad passes to Jokić. Aaron is a really, 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 really great passer when it comes to feeding Nikola Jokić the ball. Peyton, that's just something that he's going to have to get accustomed to, being in that power forward spot. And I think he had 1 or 2 passes that just resulted in turnovers and points fast break points for the Kings. Against Spence got some early fouls overall from start to finish, guarding DeMar and Levine. But again, and I'm happy for him to get his first career start. That means, you know, the organization is taking him seriously and giving him a fair chance, which I feel he definitely deserves. But Aaron is like the expert when it comes to guarding DeMar and Zach. Like, every time we play them, DeMar and Zach essentially get shut down because of Aaron's defense. And DeMar definitely proved to be too fast and too strong for Spence and Peyton. Peyton played really well. He had 11 points in the first quarter, made some really great threes. Tim was kind of a non-factor in this game, dude. He's not, his defense, and, you know, I'm trying again to consider the back-to-back, but his defense is just not as aggressive. It's been good, like really the first like couple games that they've had. I can't say overall he's playing bad defense at all. But in these last couple games, you kind of see like he's not an aggressive defender. He's not someone who feels comfortable closing out on players that he should not be giving too much space to. And that was definitely the song tonight, with either DeMar just shooting over him, Russ shooting over him at the last minute. Russ had that, Russ was able to get Tim on ISO and bumped him a little bit. Tim stepped back, and then Russ was just able to shoot a midi right over his head, a fadeaway midi at that. And Russ played great, man. Russ has definitely been working on his shot over the summer, and I think that was a skill that playing on Denver last year kind of unlocked for him, because his shot definitely started coming together towards the end of the season. And it's just like, you know, there's been a lot of conversation about, oh, I wish y'all, I know y'all wish Russ was back. No, I think Russ is right where he needs to be. Now he gets a starting position over Dennis Schroeder. You know, I mean, he's in Sacktown. He's closer to his family. I think Sacramento is a great place for him to be. I think with Denver and their offense kind of revolving around Nikola Jokić, Russ playing on Sac kind of gives him more freedom to play how he wants to play. So no, I don't prefer Russ over Bruce in this season, in this game. I think he's exactly where he needs to be. Russ, 21 points in 30 minutes, 11 assists. He was a negative 13, but I think that was just because Denver went on a nice stint in the third quarter. And then overall, a 9 out of 16, which is great. Keegan Murray also had a great game. He had a stint in the third quarter where he was just killing us, dude. And with him being on the wing, especially as big as he is, Keegan Murray, you know, again, without Aaron, nobody could really guard him. You know, Cam was doing his best. I will say Cam, Jamal, and Jokić were really the only ones who brought energy in this game. DeMar played fabulous. Zach also played really good. Let's see. Oh, Malik Monk. They had some stints of Denver. Denver does a lot of ball watching, man. And it's just, they do ball watching when they need to be rebounding. They do ball watching on defense. Ball watching meaning they're all rotating to who has the ball, which is, which you're supposed to do. But not over rotating to the point you're leaving your man and you're leaving your area to go everybody crowd around the ball handler, because it's just like, if they have really good ball movement, which they did, y'all are just going to be running in circles in the half court. And they definitely had some instances y'all going to be running around half circles or running around in circles in the half court. And there were just some instances of just leaving Malik Monk of all people wide open in three, because folk aren't paying attention to their man, or folk aren't keeping up with their man. So again, one of your teammates has to leave their man or leave their zone to come help you out since you got beat on the dribble. And yeah, I feel like Denver really just shot themselves on the foot in defense, man. Malik Monk played great. Dennis Schroeder played great down the stretch in the second half. He was really kind of getting whatever he wanted. The first quarter, kind of going back to the first quarter, was very irritating. The first half in general was just really irritating because Denver had poor transition defense, and they just could not stop any layups. We all know Jokić is not a rim protector. And because he can't really, it's a lot better for Denver to be in a 2-3 zone than a 3-2. Because then you really have nobody protecting the paint. Sacramento did a really great job protecting the paint. Bruce missed a couple of layups that I feel like even though they were contested, they should have been made. Jokić definitely has some misses in the paint that he usually makes. There were a lot of possessions where Jokić was looking to get a foul call and the refs were not giving it to him. There were 2 possessions where Jokić was trying to grift at the arc and it was just a play on, no foul was called. I will say there were definitely a couple fouls where it's just like Denver is like legitimately getting beat up in the paint. And once they transition back on the defense, the refs are just calling anything under the basket for the Kings, but not calling much in comparison under the basket for Denver. So these last couple of games, Denver has had a difficult whistle. Their opponents have been able to get away with a lot in the paint that Denver has just not been allowed to get away with. Precious Achiuwa, he was on the Knicks last year. He played really great minutes in this game as well. He was a +5. Neat Clifford, he played well. Cam made some really big threes to keep us in the game. And I think there were a lot of instances where Cam and Spencer were playing really good defense. It was just Sacktown was just able to counter with better offense. So even though Cam was probably a +3, he had three turnovers and 1 foul on 7 out of 11 shooting. 4 of 7 from 3, so that's really big. He was at 81% true shooting, which is really big. Spencer almost fouled out. And I think you have to consider for Spence, like this is his first career start. And this season alone is like his first time really getting consistent NBA minutes. Last year with the last coach, like he was just always only playing in garbage time. And it's just like, I think these are really good fouls. This is a great game for Spence to be a -18 and almost foul out, especially against DeMar DeRozan, and especially again considering the back-to-back that they played, because he really puts his effort into the game and really puts effort into learning the game. And I think Spence will just take this as a big learning moment of what you can and cannot do. He's playing really well by being an aggressive defender, because you have those players in the league that are known to be aggressive defenders. Therefore, they may get away with a little bit more than somebody else that is not known to be an aggressive defender. And I think as long as he doesn't like rack up flagrants or anything, as long as he has a very good demeanor, very good attitude, very good way he carries himself about the game. So I feel like as long as he continues to carry himself well and continues to play aggressive without flagrant fouling, I think overall it's going to be to his benefit to continue to be a strong defender as he is. And, just along with time, just learning, not to put your hand in the cookie jar, or when to, stay flat-footed and not try to jump too forward or jump too high on the ball handler if they, go up for a shot. So I think this was a great learning experience for Spence. I think if you're going to be a -18 in a game that your team loses by 5, this is the time to do it. Jamal Murray played great, yo. He really did. 9 of 18 from shooting. Let's see here. There was a stretch where it's just like, I think in the third quarter, where it's just like, okay, so nobody's gonna score but Jamal. It was like Jamal, no, first quarter, I believe. Fourth quarter, top of the fourth quarter, Val came back in. He didn't play well. Where it was just like, damn, like it was just the Jamal and the bench, and nobody was really able to do anything but Jamal. Tim had a really bad shooting game. He scored 8 points, still somehow managed to be a +3. He was 2 of 7 from field goals in general. And he was a 1 of 5 from 3. And majority of his shots were short. And when your shots are short, that means you need to put a little more oomph in either in your arms or in your legs. Usually everything comes up from the legs, right? And then powers through the arms. So with his shots repeatedly being short, that means his legs are fatigued. So I think it was just because he was getting a lot of open looks, even if they were contested. He was getting a lot of open looks. Child, we got some Hunter Tyson minutes in this game. They were not great. They were not great. Let's see here. Okay, Hunter got 1 rebound. I feel like they got to get Hunter off this team, man. I don't know. I don't really even know what you can trade for him. Zeke Hunter and Jalen, they got to get him off this team. And, you know, it would be nice. It would be nice to get some minutes from Curtis Jones because he played really well in the preseason, just to see, like, you know, how they do and if they can contribute. So we'll be missing Aaron for a while. That's gonna hurt. And news came out, he sustained a grade 2 tear in his hamstring, and he's going to be reevaluated in 4 to 6 weeks, which means he's going to be reevaluated in 6 weeks, which is going to hurt because most likely Denver, they play in DC January 22nd. So Aaron most likely won't be playing in that game, which hurts for me. Hopefully he still shows up to the team away game because Denver did get swept by the Wizards last year. So, you know, Jordan Poole definitely pulled the dagger a couple times in those games. And the Wizards are without Jordan Poole this year. But again, Denver is known to get complacent, known to get comfortable, known to take bad teams not serious, leading them to actually play better and get comfortable, meaning the opposing team playing better, getting comfortable, getting their mojo, and now Denver has given this team hope that they can actually win a game. So then it becomes an uphill battle. So we'll see. Their next game, overall irritating game. I'm not going to take it that serious. This loss, considering the optics. And I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, the thought of losing Aaron is just on their minds as they play as well. Peyton still has to figure out his contract for next year, what they're going to give him. I hope he stays. I hope we can keep him. It just sucks to, you know, give Chris that big extension and then he gets injured, but he's still only being paid like $3 million this year. So we will see. We will see. I would love to keep Peyton. So I hope, you know, when the time comes for them to discuss his contract, they can agree on something. But yeah, this wasn't a Peyton Watson night. Unfortunate loss, not a terrible loss. They play Memphis on Monday. Is that an away game? Let me see. Yeah, Jesus Christ. So they got to get back on a plane today. Today is Sunday. They got to get back on a plane today and go play Memphis at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is great for me. That means I get to go to sleep earlier because I am on the East Coast here. And all of these games, yeah, none of these games for the next week look to be at 10 or after. So that's good for me. But next game tomorrow, Monday, at Memphis, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will give y'all my analysis then. Until then, this is Kiana Talks Ball. Thank you for joining. Tell me what you thought about the game in the comments. What would you have changed? I'm sure there's plenty of what you might have liked to see other than what was presented by Denver, but it is what it is. I'll see y'all later for the Memphis game. Y'all have a good one.